Well, here I am, presently living in Paraguay, in South America. Went to the grocery store this morning, came back with some tomatoes. Look at how nice that is. Beautiful. Nectarines. Beautiful nectarine. Look at that. Zucchini. Nothing like slicing some zucchini, putting some olive oil, oregano, some seasonings on there, and baking them. Oh, it comes out fantastic. Also got some bananas. Look at those bananas. Look at how beautiful those bananas are, huh? So you're probably wondering about the price. How much do I pay in South America for food? It might surprise you, especially the steaks, the hamburger meat, the pork. That's extremely cheap in Paraguay, and it's much better quality than the U.S. because it's grass fed. Well, usually I don't buy beef because I'm trying to avoid cardiovascular disease, and you know, beef seems to tend to block your arteries, so I try and stay away from beef, but I do eat a lot of pork and chicken and fish. Pork chops cost me about, let's calculate. I'll tell you exactly what it cost me. Pork chops, pork meat cost me about $1 a pound. So does chicken, $1 a pound. So why don't we just say between $1 and $1.50 a pound? Much better quality. And steaks, beef, I would suspect that costs about $1.50 to $2 a pound. Much higher quality because it's grass-fed. But let's get back to this since I have the store receipt. The zucchini, 75 cents a pound. The tomatoes, look at how beautiful that is, huh? The tomatoes, 72 cents a pound. The nectarine, look at that nectarine, huh? What quality. The nectarine was $1.69 a pound. Okay. What about the bananas? The bananas, they cost me 42 cents a pound. And again, with far less chemicals, okay? With far less chemicals than in the U.S. So it's kind of like buying your food at a health food store. You know, it's very interesting that in the U.S., processed food is cheaper than buying the natural stuff. And luckily in Paraguay, the natural stuff is much cheaper than buying the processed food. So it's great. Now, I don't want you to think that living in South America is all fun and games, paradise, because it's not. Everywhere in the world, since I've been to many countries, and I've actually lived in some of them, but everywhere in the world there's problems. It's just different types of problems. Of course, if you have a lot of money, you can, you can live pretty much anywhere in the world without a problem. So you just have to choose what type of problems you want to deal with. Another good thing about South America is a very low tax area. It's very easy to start a business here. It's kind of like what the United States used to be like. But like I said, South America has its own problems that seem to keep it mired in third world status. But the advantages of living in South America, number one, the women are very friendly, and you don't have this problem with if you start a conversation with a woman on the street, she's not going to insult you or call you some male chauvinist pig. As a matter of fact, sometimes they get pissed off if you don't look at them. I'm not good looking enough for you to look at me? Well, what's going on here? So, it's actually a little backwards in that sense. I think I'm going to have to do a video on the bad things about South America, because there's a number of those things. Of course, once I tell you those things, you might say, oh, that's nothing. But actually, over a period of time, it does wear on you. The second thing that's great about South America is the food is very inexpensive and much better because it's natural in South America. Things are in South America extremely cheap, not as cheap as Southeast Asia, but I've talked to a lot of people who've lived in Southeast Asia and then they come to South America to live, and some of them like Southeast Asia better. The people that I meet that are here, they tend to like Latin America better because it's easier to be able to speak Spanish. The people look more similar to Americans. They're more genetically similar to Americans. South Americans, actually they're pretty much basically the same because you had European immigration to South America. But in South America you have a lot more American Indian, South American Indian descendants here. So in that respect it might be a little different genetically. And depending on what part of South America you live, you'll also have some blacks. Paraguay, Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, Peru, you won't find any. Northern Brazil, you'll find blacks, and Colombia and Venezuela. Americans who've lived in Southeast Asia come to South America and tell me that they feel they fit in more in South America. Another one of the things you might like about South America is it's very friendly. They always want to practice their English with you. There's a lot of good things about South America. The tax structure is very low tax rates. If you come here and if you get paid outside the country because you're running an internet business, or if you're retired, basically you're not paying any tax except sales tax. The food is cheap, very natural, excellent food. Meat, which is of high quality, is extremely cheap. The women are very friendly. It's easy to get into some type of relationship with women. That's about everything. I can't think of any other things. But I'll do a video on the negatives of South America, and there is a number of negatives. And the longer you live here, the more those negatives tend to bother you. You know, when you first move to South America, when you first come to visit, you think it's paradise on earth, because all you see is these other things. The women are very beautiful, they're very friendly, the food is extremely cheap, and it's wonderful. Tastes much better than in the United States. You can eat for $2 or $3 and eat a wonderful meal. Depending on what country you live in, it's relatively safe. Safe from violence. So, living in Paraguay, also I know southern Brazil, and Argentina. Well, I haven't been to Argentina lately, and Argentina has had a lot of economic problems. You know, relatively safe. Southern Brazil. I'm not saying all of Brazil, I'm saying southern Brazil. And when I used to go to Argentina, it was relatively safe, and Paraguay is probably the safest out of the three. You also have Uruguay, and I've never had any problems in Uruguay. Bolivia, you don't seem to have problems, but from my experience, you stand out more in Bolivia, because Bolivia is mainly indigenous people. And I have come across Bolivians that don't really appreciate Caucasian people, which was kind of interesting that they were giving me a hard time, because you know, in the United States, you know, everybody can tell I'm of Latin descent. And in Bolivia, they were calling me, you know, whitey or white face, and yeah, I got into an argument one time with somebody there. But you know, for the most part, Bolivia is a safe place too. A nice place. I have no complaints. The other country I know in South America is Colombia. Colombia seemed to be a little more dangerous to me. Even though I thought it was a beautiful place. Medellin was where I went to in Colombia. So yeah, you should travel around South America. I think it's pretty safe still. Obviously, some places are dangerous in South America, but people will tell you right off the bat when you get there. Having left the United States and renouncing my citizenship, I feel I have the experience to help other Americans do the same. Renouncing my citizenship would turn out to be one of the best economic decisions I would ever make. Not to mention the benefits to my physical and psychological well-being. Today, I consider myself a free man. If you need help leaving the United States, renouncing your citizenship, acquiring a new citizenship, or just someone to talk to help you on this difficult journey, then contact me by email and we can set up consultations. You can also donate to my PayPal account. The information is in the low bar. Don't go over there, don't go over here, because South Americans are extremely friendly.